down here in the bottom position, the first player in this team kill. Give it up for Dragon Phoenix Gaming's Rogue. And his opponent up here, the second player looking to kill his teammate. Give it up for Dragon Phoenix Gaming's ZEST. And ZEST may be best, but he is having to go up against the guy he actually taught how to beat everything that he builds. That's right. ZEST has taught Rogue how to defeat the dreaded Void Ray build that has been plaguing Zerg players on the ladder and in tournaments for the last couple of months. So, you know, there's a lot of different things that can happen in this series. As we foresee that probe kind of just being a little bit of a nuisance, as usual, with the spawning pool going up after the hatchery. So nothing too aggressive on this short rush distance map. But you know what? Just keep an eye out, because there is always the possibility for the queens to go on a little bit of a traveling extravaganza, sometimes using that EU taxi, which should now be up and operational, as it is about mid-morning, almost afternoon. But sometimes they just like to go for a nice little stroll. Not saying that's going to happen for definite in this game, as we have to see what ZEST is going to be going for. As the Cybernoric score finishes up. Oh yeah, looks like one of the mods has to make the predictions. But yeah, okay, here we go. It's going to be Twilight Council to start things off. I like this. It's a much easier way to get damage than kind of relying on the Void Rays early on and the counter damage, worrying about that counter damage. Yeah, you better hurry, Sushi, because I don't know how much longer this game is going to go on for with how aggressive ZEST is going to try and be. The Twilight Council finished up, so DTs are going to be on the way, and I like this. We saw what happened versus Patient, or we saw what happened when Patience tried this. There was no detection from Rogue. He was a little bit too slow to get that up, so he really took a lot of damage and caused a lot of stress early on here. Now, this time he does see the additional gateway coming on in, and just the fact that the robo facility is down tells him that he at least needs to get the roaches on out. But still, no spores anywhere. Yeah, there you go, guys. Predictions have opened, so go ahead and get those predictions in for who is going to win this one. Is it going to be the Cheddar of ZEST, or is it going to be the Macro of Rogue? And yes, unfortunately, Generic Greenwing's Falcon R1X did get dismantled, so a lot of the Generic Greenwings players have been left without a home. I think, yeah, ZEST and Rogue popped on over to Dragon Phoenix, and I think some of them went over to Team NV. I'd have to check where everyone is hanging out, though. And of course, they're going to find a team. They're all very talented players, as the DT is going to be coming in, and there is Spore Crawlers this time. So he's going to have to get on out of there and just morph in the Archons. Even just going to recall that home to play it completely safe. right, things are shaping up all over. The immortals are starting to pop out. Looks like Rogue is going to be sticking with the roaches for a little bit longer. And the thing about roaches is they really do start to lose the utility a little bit as the upgrades start to kick in, as the AoE starts to pop with the Colossus or Disruptors and such. But what it allows you to do is we see a lot of Zerg players use them as kind of a stepping stone towards a bit of a faster hive tech. And with that hive, they can get lurkers, they can power on up, and they can really just get a very scary late game army, and Rogue lives for the late game. That's where he is really comfortable because his control is so solid. He's kind of like the Maru of Zerg players in that regard, because although Maru did start out pretty proxy heavy, nowadays he is pretty good at the late game, and he kind of sticks around there because it helps him with his wrist problems. Alright, ZEST is going to be getting his first big foray on to creep. Charge is complete. The force field's actually going to keep away a lot of the roaches. He catches quite a bit of them, but there's not that much force field energy left after the biles start to clean that up. Looks like Rogue still has a bit of a concave here, but unfortunately he's getting forced very far back. The Archon's getting on top of this, and there's actually nothing left here. The roaches starting to trickle on out, but they are not fighting together. And ZEST, with a very clean game number 1, takes the first game. Yeah, unfortunately, Rogue made a couple of mistakes in that fight. The biles didn't go down on the force field, so he was really only fighting with half of his army for a good majority of that first fight. And yeah, it just really didn't work out for him here. And now, before this next battle, looks like we have 28 seconds, so I'm just actually going to start this battle a little bit early, because we got a pretty good lineup here. Looks like a bunch of you guys bringing out the firepower here. We are in phalanx formation. Actually, I'm not going to start it early, as we don't even need to. Battle starts. We will have to take down this guy over here, the Ibis Guard. But let's just deal with these guys down here first. As looks like Reality and Doom Cookie bringing up the rear with the archers, doing a really good job of that. Tank the warriors, tanking the guards on the other side, but they are going down fast. Looks like there is just way too much DPS though, and we will push our way through nice and easy. Good job, all of us. And who wants it? We got a healer right here. Looks like Zogern actually joined the fight as well. Let's see. Who can I award this to? You know what? I'm going to go for PH Neutral, since you brought a lot of the army. And you got a good win ratio. Now over here, Doom Cookie, you top the leaderboard in kills, so that you are going to get the 25 coins. Congratulations, my friends. We are victorious once again. I am going to grant the rewards. I am going to send us over. Let's do a hard one this time. Let's see if we can keep this one going. And with that, let us hop, not walk, into game number 2. Spawning. In the bottom position, ZEST is really best. He is ZEST. And his opponent up here in the top, giving up for the killer of kings. He is Rogue. So, nothing too fancy. Obviously, we've seen Rogue tonight just be that very reactionary player. He doesn't want to kind of dictate the pace, as we've kind of seen. He's been essentially quite content to just try and deal with his opponents by trying to overwhelm them. Now, in the last game, he did get pretty heavily overwhelmed, and I feel like that kind of had to do with the choke points. It looks like on this map, there are a lot more open positions for him to go around in. So if he can take advantage of that, it's going to work. Power overwhelming. There you go. All right. So that's going to be going back to a tried and true favorite. He's going to be getting that Stargate up. I think this is the map where he just loves to go Void Rays, as there's a lot of open positions where you can kind of camp them, where it's a little bit harder to hit, and the armies can't follow as effectively. But you know what? Rogue might know that. Now, you know, these two do play a lot being teammates. So, will it be Void Rays? The Stargate is complete. I expected nothing less. Alright, so off the back of this ZEST, his Oracle control is pretty good, so just going to be bringing one of those out for a little bit of harassment. A nice little poke to kind of keep Rogue on his toes. We should be seeing potentially a Roach Warren be coming on down pretty soon, as the best way to deal with this, as we've figured out, is to just go for that big overwhelming attack before the Void Ray count gets too big. And with the Queens in tow, it's just really difficult for the Protoss to deal with it. As the Void Ray actually going to be coming in here, taking quite a bit of damage on the shields. The Oracle not going to get the hookup right there, but you know, there's plenty of opportunities. This little boy's betrayed a little bit too far from home. He's gonna have to recall that. I don't really want him to keep that out there. The nights are cold and dark and full of terrors. Sushi, I think he meant the predictions in chat, but there you go, Flag Bear skin for you. So you can rep the team as well. So now we see ZEST. He's got the additional Void Rays. He's going to go up to about 6, I believe, and then just kind of transition into that charge slot Archon. Oh, you set the prediction for the entire series. Okay. Lazy Sushi. But you know what? The best innovations are the laziest ones. So make sure you do get your predictions on in there, guys. Okay, so I'm a little worried that ZEST may be going a little bit too overboard with the Void Ray counter here, as he's got more than the normal 6 that you would see, and that's a much bigger gas intake than you would expect. We do see that Gateway Explosion coming on down, though, so we should be seeing that transition into Zealot Archon relatively quickly, and that's when it gets dangerous for Rogue. But we do see the Hydralisks going to be coming out in big numbers. The creep spread just trying to be pushed forward so these queens can be a little bit speedier than normal. And we should potentially be seeing an attack as +1 finishes. I think that's the play for him here. Hit that little bit of timing. Yes, best of 5. The players, I guess, made the decision to make it a best of 5. So the Liquipedia page is a little bit off. Last minute change, TI Inspire, but thank you. Voider is going to be going a little bit too far forward here, but the Hydras don't have speed. They are going to just chase this down, however, but ZEST utilizing the map to his advantage. Rogue will want to clean that up just to give those Void Rays a little bit less room to breathe. And actually, did he? No, he... Okay, I was a little confused because they looked a little bit faster than normal, but no, he doesn't have speed, and he's not going for it right now. I think that's going to be pretty important for the attack, which, I mean, he's getting ready for, as we do see the queens starting to waddle their way across with the main army. And this is the timing that you want to hit. Right after Storm finishes, where you're going to get blanketed by Florida weather. Alright, we already got the transition down to the Spire as well. 32 Mordlings in the production tab. Adrenal Glands with the Hive. And, I mean, I like all the moves that Rogue is doing. He's obviously not going to be trying to throw away his army at any point. If he can get the surround here, that would be perfect for him. The Banelings going to be coming around the back, a little bit late to the party, but I don't think it's going to matter as they get all of the High Templar, that Archon morphing at the best time, but that is still not really enough to deal with this Zerg army. The supply has plummeted for ZEST, and it's just pure Void Rays at this point. And now Rogue will have to back on out of there. The run by gonna get cleaned up by these cracklings. And actually, never mind, the Zealots are gonna be enough to kind of clean this out. And we'll get a little bit more damage done, getting some of the queens for the cost of a base back at home. But ZEST, no, you know what? He took a lot of damage to that attack. I will have to kind of rebuild himself here as he goes up to carriers. But, I mean, will Rogue give him that kind of time to do so? Once ZEST finishes here, he plays there. Oh my goodness. We're just running this guy ragged with our events, aren't we? All for the sake of esports, ladies and gentlemen. All for the sake of esports. But you know what? This time, we do see a much faster transition into the Broods. So Rogue not going to be one to kind of stall this one out and go for too late of a game with the spore walls and everything. He's going to look to try and kill this army quickly. Sooner than later. Now we see the double spire up just for the upgrades. 3 carriers at a time. Whew. What? Looks like Rogue not only looking to get some pickoffs here, but he's trying to expend some of that storm energy, pull the army away from the exposed natural right now with that run by. And we do have some Bane's going to be coming in. The storms not going to help out. Are going to help out. Cast a curse right there. And yeah, it looks like the Hydra is taking a bad pathing, so they will fall, and Rogue supply has absolutely plummeted right there. So many units killed. The Fungals, however, going to get right on top of the Void Rays, and those will start to go down. Not enough chains, however. A couple of pickoffs here, but there's not enough to actually one-shot so the carrier's actually just going to be able to stand and deliver right there as he fights his way into the spore wall. I think ZEST is starting to break through as Rogue supply once again starting to plummet. A little bit of a throw right there from Rogue, losing those Hydralisks so deadly for him. And now we are going to be going on to match point. ZEST. Can anyone kill this kid? I say kid, he's my age. Yeah, make sure you get your units in as well, ladies and gentlemen, because we're going to have one more big battle on Stream Raiders after this series, as ZEST seems to go home. Yeah, you know what? Rogue started out really strong this night, taking down Patience very well. But ZEST seems to be more than a match for him. Oxide is our first match point of the night. We'll have to see if Rogue can kind of start to battle his way back into it. I'm joking, guys. ZEST is not a kid. You can also tell how much of a stream delay there is by your responses. Whew. Without further ado, let's bring all of our energy for this potential last game. This guy needs it. Spawning up here in the top position of Oxide. He's blue. He's Zerg. He's a king killer. Give it up for Dragon Phoenix Gaming's Rogue. And his opponent down here in the bottom, one game away from a well-deserved break. Never mind, he's playing after this. It's Dragon Phoenix Gaming's ZEST. It was a best of 7, but now it's a best of 5 because we're running ZEST ragged. He's going to be jumping over to Africa TV. And yes, ZEST was recently with Razor Edge Gaming, but they let him go earlier, and then Dragon Phoenix Gaming picked him up. And it seems to be for the best here. I think he really meshes with Rogue as a teammate. I think those guys are gonna do very well with each other in the team leagues that are kind of going around. I think there's one in China that I'm not gonna make the same mistake as Behemoth and try and guess the name, because Sushi will get on me because he has a team in there as well for Alpha X. But yeah, Cybernetics Core going to be going down. And I think this is a map which favors Stargate once again. And there we go. Yeah, it's like a gold something league. Thank you, Vorksal. So we'll have to see as this game kind of progresses, whether it's going to be Void Rays or Oracles. We should have about 10 seconds before we find out. Void Rays. ZEST. It's ZEST. So what do you really expect? He innovated this build. He is going to stick with it until his dying breath. Probably not that long, because I don't think StarCraft 2 will last until he's 80. He'll probably be coaching like StarCraft 40 at that point. But yeah, the Void Ray is just going to be coming out. There's a lot of different positions that you can kind of dance around with it, where you really can't follow with a ground army. So as long as he's able to utilize all these positionings near the rocks, on the high ground, and you can kind of see on the bottom over there the planetarium looking things where you can't really engage into quite effectively. There's just a lot of room for him to dance. Yes, thank you. Gold Series Team Championship. There you go. But he's going to be coming in here, taking a lot of damage on this first Void Ray. I'm a little bit worried about that. The Oracle, I'm not so worried about. He does get 3 kills overall. Obviously, the gold standard with an Oracle is 5. But I think he'll be happy with that. Just keeping that alive, keeping the Void Ray alive, keeping everything alive. Because obviously, the way you win this game is to stay alive. So far, he's doing a good job of that. Look at that. These queens, though, are very far out. A little bit of a miss micro there from Rogue, I'd imagine. Spore Crawler in an interesting position as well. I guess he was trying to catch the Oracle from a different angle, but wasn't able to get it. And yeah, same kind of issue over here. Leaves a lot of open room for that Oracle to fly around in, but just gonna stick with the Revelation for now. And now Oxide, I think if you're gonna go for the German taxi, or just that big aggressive play, this is the map to do it. This is the best way to do it. Because the rush distance isn't really too bad. You just got to get the creep spread pretty well, and it's pretty easy to get it to that 4th base location. And hello, Dragon Soul 2016. Hope you're doing well, my man. Welcome, welcome. All right. Keep an eye out, guys. He has capped himself at 68 drones, 8 more roaches on the production tab, as ZEST is powering up to Templar Archives and that big gateway explosion once again. But, you know, will it be enough? The Queens have moved their way forward. Gonna focus fire down that weakened Void Ray, take out some of the shields of that, and he is aggressively spreading that creep so far forward at this point. And the whole purpose is so that the Queens can get as close as possible. And Sushi, I got your message. I will do so. Can do, boss. Nice kills on that Oracle. 4 going on down. I think that was actually his MVP for the game. Yeah, 9 kills, keeping that alive. As Rogue going to be taking his 4th base. I keep expecting the German taxi with what he's doing. I am so, not desperate, but I so want to see it sometime today. Or just any time, because it's so fun to watch. But instead, Rogue is going to be going for the late game once again, just keeping his army forward with the creep. I feel like he keeps losing a window where he can just do such a lot of damage before ZEST is really ready to counteract him. Disgusting swarm hosts. Yep, that is something right there. So now with Hive on the way, +2 is going to be finishing up for ZEST faster than the +1 upgrades of our Terran player. And do you know why it's going to be faster than the Terran player? Because there is no Terran player in this game. Pay attention, passer. Seriously. But now, I mean, the Zerg player, as he's going up to Spire, he's got the Hive on the way, maybe to get that faster Broodlord transition like we saw in the previous game, which will help out quite nicely versus what ZEST is going for. But Rogue is going to be maxed out here, just getting that last little bit of Zerglings to kind of fill out his army. And just pushing the creep forward. That's the thing about Oxide. It's very easy to get on top of that 4th base with the creep. And that means the reinforcement point is so close by. Yeah, Rogue. He's like a spider just waiting in his trap. No pun intended. But here we go. It looks like he is trying to strike the High Templars. Actually getting taken out before they can get the Storms. And unfortunately for ZEST, it looks like he has lost a lot here. Unfortunately for Rogue, though, I don't think he can continue to engage in that position with his army. So he will back off. Very wise there to rekindle his... You know why I'm losing my train of thought here? I see 2 Thunderbolts on the production tab up there. That is the worst mistake I have seen all day. If he had Storm, that engagement is over for Rogue. He loses his entire army, and he can't come back from that. Now, Rogue trying to clean out some supply right there, just sending some roaches forward, looking for the snipes, but he has this Spore Crawler wall in the backfield. And now Rogue, he's still in a bad position. His army is not very mobile anymore, and he's having to send quite a bit of it to deal with the run-bys of ZEST. But if you can kind of hold on and get a little bit of mobility with the Lings, which I do like the addition of adding them, he will be able to kind of slowly whittle down ZEST. But yeah, it's these run-bys. It's taking up so much of Rogue's army just to deal with them. You do see even here, look at that. The Zerglings, not going to be enough. The Roach is going to have to come on over the Vipers as well, just kind of nomming away, getting ready for the fight. 6 drones already going down to all of this. And I mean, the carrier count is starting to get pretty scary with not a lot of AoE. And by that, I mean absolutely 0 AoE other than the queens. There's no Hydralisks. There's no Corruptors. He's gonna have to fight in range of the Transfuse. And I mean, if you focus fire down the queens, they die very, very quickly. Honestly, you know what? I'm going to go for a dark horse here. I think Raynar will get top 2. Maybe even Astray are going to get a top 4 finish. But enough about that. One of the carriers does fall very quickly to the yoink. As he's trying to build up the Corruptor count. But he is completely maxed out on supply. So that is not going to be happening anytime soon. He's relying on the immobility of the carriers. And yeah, I mean, Rogue is just stuck behind his wall. He can't move out. You know what? I'm going to say ZEST is going to get a top 4 finish, and the only reason I think he's not going to is because I think he's going to have to play Trap in, say, the semifinals. I think just overall, Trap is a little bit more methodical and a little bit better here as a full energy High Templar goes on down. With the transition coming on out for ZEST with the double Robo and the Robo facility plus Blink. But now both of these players kind of just dancing around the issue here. I don't hate it because unlike, say, Patience versus Rogue, this is a little bit more... Now hold that thought as the Archon's actually getting right on top of the Ravagers, but that was really just to clean up supply. So he meant that... ZEST, what are you doing? That's 400 minerals and 400 gas about to walk into a Spore Crawler wall. Alright, he does get the recall in. There is a fungal going to be going down, but the feedback's going to be cleaning up the chain coming on down. The High Templars do need to morph into Archons pretty soon here, as there's not that much detection. The Overseer's only just now coming in. Good yoinks, but those carriers still falling very, very slowly. Recall going to be coming in, but that is the worst recall that you can get, as all the carriers actually going to get clean, actually going to get left behind. Oh my goodness. That's about the worst recall that you could get. Most of his army was left behind. Yeah, Mothership goes sayonara. Or sayonara. And leaves everyone for themselves. Oh, don't worry. I'm sure Sushi has something up his sleeve for host Katowice. I know we're going to have tons of the replays coming on down here now. Taking a look back in the game, ZEST building up quite a nice bank, 3,000 gas and 6,000 minerals. So even just cleaning up the probe count so that he can get even more High Templars. He's really going ham on the storms. And those feedbacks going to be pretty nice versus the very heavy Infestor count. Yeah, Theater of Dreams was a really fun tournament. I got to cast that one with Bayo, which is always a pleasure. Bayo, very methodical, great analytical caster. Another recall coming on in. I feel like ZEST is trying to play around an immobile Zerg army, but with the Corruptors in the sky, Rogue is just able to kind of get around a lot easier. Some good feedback's going to go down, cleaning up a lot of Infestor energy. And there's still a lot of storms left with all of this, so Rogue has to be very careful how he engages into this. That is a very balled up army. But the Fungals plus the Parasitic Bomb is going to do wonders to start this one out. But unfortunately, I don't think he has enough for the chain. And that is 800 minerals and gas down the drain. Looks like 21 workers going down on that base, as well as this Spore Crawler wall. Got it in the end. Having to reposition, and there's not enough to chain Fungal anymore. So Rogue is going to have to rely on the Corruptors to deal with this air army. Now, are there any storms left? Not really, but that Archon count is still really huge, and it looks like ZEST is starting to pile drive his way through, getting another base before backing on off. That was a much better recall this time. So now, let's take stock. Rogue, he was able to clean up 4 of those carriers, 7 Archons, but he lost a bunch of his Corruptors and a lot of the Infestors as well. And just kind of taking a look at that income, Rogue's not really mining any gas anymore. You know, he lost a lot of his bases. So he really has to reassemble that, as ZEST is mining way more gas. So really these heavy gas units are much more expensive for him, as the probe's going to be left alone. He doesn't want to free up any more of ZEST's supply. Now, you know what? I feel bad for the Afrika TV stream because they did go live already, so they're kind of just waiting for us to finish. I feel like from this point forward, it's a little bit of death by 1,000 cuts. I don't want to say Rogue is completely dead, but he's really running on empty for this series right now. Not this series, but this game. The Ultra is going to be moving their way forward, but there's not... But there's enough here to kind of push those back. One player from each round of 36 will go into one group per, and it will be randomized, as far as I'm aware. I'd have to ask my ESL contacts, but they probably wouldn't tell me. They'd be like, who the heck are you? Mainly because they're not my contacts anymore. Alright, the problem is Rogue doesn't really have an idea of what's going on this side of the map anymore. He doesn't really have the creep coming on out this side. A little bit of a base trade, but not really, because he will be coming home to try and defend. But does he have the army composition to deal with this? I gotta say the answer, probably no. He's gonna need to get some pretty good parasitic bombs. Why though? Why are you Protoss players doing that? That is the 3rd mothership core you've lost tonight. This is why we can't have nice things. It's cute, it's awesome, it's funny, but you could go straight to the main base for free there because there's no vision on that side of the map anymore. Pretty high Ultralisk count, just to try and deal with the Archons, but there are Immortals being mixed in with this army. Rogue's still completely supplied out, so he can't really improve on what he has anymore. He just has to find that perfect engagement. Look at that. As long as ZEST can starve him out, that's all he needs to do with this. He doesn't need to attack in. He just needs to prevent the bases from going down. And I mean, with a bank of 10k, 2k, he can do that. Why is he attacking his own Nexus? Thank you, ZEST. He almost killed it. Good. Fungal's going to be starting off this fight, but this is almost all that Rogue has. The Corruptor's going to be reigning supreme in the sky. The Infestors, though, clean up the ground. The Archon count pretty darn low. Unfortunately for ZEST, he didn't take the best engagement right there. The Void Ray count. I don't like it. If he would have gotten the Brood Lords, that would have been so much better. But oh my goodness, he took about the worst fight that he could in that situation. And now the Corruptor's gonna reign supreme in the sky, gonna clean up that base. Oh my goodness, ZEST. You do know you have another game to play after this. Now, the Broodlords are gonna have to come home to fix this, as the Spine Crawlers are not gonna be enough, as those will go down. And if he can kill this base, he's still in an okay position as he rebuilds. But yeah, that was very painful for him. Look at that, ZEST even trying to take that base up top. Not gonna happen, dude. I just don't really think he has the ability to do it. But you know, he is going for a ground army now. That's a lot of Corruptors in the sky, but they don't really have that much to shoot down with. And even the Ultras can't really deal with the Stalkers too efficiently, so as long as you have enough Zealots in the front to kind of tank the Broodlings, that's really all you need. Where are the Void Rays in this situation? There's only 3 of them. Rogue is going to be able to clean up a lot of the tech, but he will lose a couple of Corruptors for that. As Rogue is actually skint broke. How many gateways does ZEST have right now? He's got 13. So with those 13 gateways, he's just going to be pumping out a ton of Stalkers, which will eat into his gas quite heavily. But he still has a nice big mineral bank, with which to toss in the Zealot run-bys. Now ZEST with a supply lead. Again, he's just really starving Rogue out. This is... this is essentially death by 1,000 cuts. Now, you know, he's going to focus fire down on this hatchery. Might not get it. There's just a little bit too much there. But since he had to devote so much to this position, he was able to get on top of the Broodlords, actually get a couple of beautiful snipes. And now all he has to do is get out of there with the Stalkers. Taking a look at that. Yeah, 5 of the Broodlords go down, only 1 left. And Rogue is not going to be remaking those anytime soon. He's only going to be remaking 2 of them. That's nowhere enough to win this game. I think Rogue kind of knows that he's out, but he's going to try and battle it. It's not necessarily a fantasy GG timing, as we've seen worse throws in StarCraft 2 history. But yeah, this is going to be a pretty hard one for him to do. As that base falls, I think that's essentially going to be it. He recalls after the army is completely pulled away. If he wants to, he can just, you know, get underneath those Broodlords and take them out. He doesn't even really need to fight here. But Storm's gonna blanket his own army more than the Stalkers, or the, what do you call them, Zerg units. And even though he's just gonna sack this position, he doesn't need it. He is up over 70 supply. And this next big fight is going to be the end. Here we go. Not really that much in the sky anymore. The corruptor count has been completely decimated. Currently sitting at 13 of them. I'm kind of interested that ZEST is playing it very passive. Just overall. By the way, just take a look at this. It says he lost 2 motherships. He lost 3. And you know what? Rogue doesn't even want to give him the satisfaction of a fight. ZEST with a clean 3-0 sweep.